Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Edward here, back with another video. It's been a while since I posted my last one. I've been very sick. My God, for it's been like 2 weeks. Um, I'm getting better now, a lot better. But yeah, it's been a crazy 2 weeks sick. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you only one shot, only one trade I took today with my team. Right here, this is my private community, and this is pretty much what I do every single morning. I give them analysis. I talk about a little bit about fundamentals, what we should be expecting, and where we currently at in the scale of greediness. And so this is the picture I sent them at around 8:05 today. Potential scenario. So this is what I was seeing here. New York session is just opening. So I send them an idea to where I want price to go. Okay, send them a projection. So my job right here is now to either just take the shot right away. Why? Because if you look here, there is a change in the state of delivery after this last push. If you look at the structure, you had an impulse, correction, impulse, and right here after this last impulse, the price came back down and broke this lows right here. So we had a market structure and a change in the state of delivery. So this two candles right here to the downside, this is a breaker block. All this area, it's a breaker block. So the next thing I did says selling now, sending a picture, say just waited a little bit more because I wanted to see what was going to happen right about here. So we just waited for price. Let me just go straight here and just show you first what I was expecting in higher time frames. So I'm definitely strongly bullish right now. We are. Let me give you a little bit of background, by the way. I don't know if you can see here. This is the 200 moving average, and a little bit of history behind. Right? Notice this. This was coronavirus. As soon as the price climbs back on top of the 200, boom, you get a 2-year push. Right? Then we have the entire 2022. Inflation started, right? War in Ukraine started. And we had the whole 2022 pretty much bearish. 2023, notice, as soon as we climbed on top of the 200, we skyrocket. Well, not skyrocket, but I mean, we pretty much pushed for 2 years straight up. And we maintained being above the 200. Now, what happened this year? Donald Trump gets in the White House and starts signing papers and changing a lot of things, right? And we crashed, right? It's a whole new thing, for the Americans and this tariffs, right, to pretty much every country. So until it became the new normal, right? This is what I've been telling you guys as well. We're most likely gonna correct once everything becomes the new normal. It's normal for us to know that Donald Trump can release tariffs or increase tariffs just whenever he wants, almost literally. So because now all the countries have been coming back to the U.S., like knocking their door and saying, "Hey, can we negotiate this, please? And can we just do some adjustments?" So that's what's happening right now. With this, we're correcting also with a lot of speed now, right? It was a strong big crash because this drop was pretty big and fast, right? About 3 months, since pretty much he got in the White House. February we started crashing, right? But now we're correcting, and notice that we are just breaking above the 200. So if you use the history, right, you might say that we might be into the beginning of a new trend again, probably for another at least minimum 2 years. You know, so yeah, very much. If you want to swing trade, this is the moment. So, anyways, notice what happened since we opened. Notice this gap right here. This is the weekly opening gap. This is how we close on Friday. Now how we open on Sunday. Huge gap right here. Notice what happened during Asian session and London session all night. Where did the price go? Bullish all night, right? So I don't like when markets push up all night like that. I don't like it because it's very unpredictable. Next day, we could just simply continue flying, or because using the logic, you know, it's if this is like markets are like a rubber band. If you stretch it too much, eventually they will have to pull back, right? They will reverse. So, but it's more unpredictable. For me, I'm not a fan of trading days like this unless I can take a shot, unless I have a very clean, good setup, which is what happened right here, right? When I zoom in, this is what I was seeing. Let's go ahead and before New York session, I trade mainly New York session. So what is the thing I do? I went to the 5-minute and New York session, boom, open right there. So what is it that I'm seeing already? And what I'm trying to identify, liquidity, right? I wanna mark up recent highs, right? Most recent highs and most recent lows, right? I understand there's also a big inefficiency here because at 3 in the morning, right at the opening London session, we skyrocket, boom, like 300 pips. So there's a big imbalance right here, right? That price might try to go to. Price might try to balance itself. Price has been so overbought that I'm trying to use my logic in saying, okay, I understand market pushed up all night, right? It's been flying during Asian session, London, especially London session. Now, New York session might try to correct a little bit, okay? There's nothing 100% guaranteed. Price could have definitely, during New York session, could have definitely continued flying, right? However, I'm just seeing the possibilities and the probabilities, right? So right now, after this huge expansion, we're probably going to have a little correction. I'm not looking any big movement, right? I'm not expecting price to crash all the way down here, but at least this low right here, 4 in the morning. So it's still London session. So I'm marking up that buy side and sell side, and I'm looking for a setup, which again, you can actually see how clear this setup was. It was actually very clear. You had an impulse right here, correction, impulse. After that, this last impulse right here, that last high, we break. We break this low. So price was creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and creates a lower low, right? Breaks the structure, changing the state. A big breaker block right here, right? So I want to see during New York session, price, of course, will try to take some liquidity, right? So I have, what's the first thing I'm waiting? I'm waiting for price to take some liquidity during New York session, right? So if you can see here on the 1 minute, notice this recent lows, right? When prices start dropping, after creating this high right here, drop. So notice what prices start doing. All of this, it's all engineered. So New York session is opening right here. I'm sure that New York session is going to try to take all of these recent highs. All this structure, engineered, price will most likely try to take it. I marked up that 5-minute fair value gap, which was, by the way, if you use the fib from the high to the low, we are in premium. This is premium right here, right? So expecting something like this price to enter here, and then from here, probably giving sales, right? So I can enter. But one thing is that I'm not a fan of the 1 minute. I always tell this to my team, to everybody. I'm not a fan of the 1 minute because it's just way too, how can I say? It's way too choppy sometimes. It can get very nasty. But there's always a pro and a con. What's the con? Is that it gets very choppy, very difficult, and you have to think fast because it's a 1 minute time frame, right? It moves quick. The pro from this is that if you can catch a nice setup entry, oh, the risk to rewards are magnificent, are just gorgeous. You can get beautiful risk to rewards, right? So today you can see I just caught a 1 to 3, which is it's okay, but I'm going to show you here the comparison. If I would have entered on the 1 minute, I would have caught like a 1 to 14 risk to reward today. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I'm waiting, and I'm patiently waiting also for an SMT. I need to see an SMT divergence. So I have S&P 500 on my right side. You see that I don't use indicators other than probably the time session, but I don't use indicators. I only use the S&P 500 to spot divergence. So notice what happens here. Price pushes up, right? New York session start pushing up. As I'm saying, you see all this little liquidity that was formed recently. Price is going to take it. I'm expecting this high to be respected. If I want to sell, I want to see this high being respected, and I want to see price sort of react to anywhere in this area, if I do want to sell. So I'm just waiting. Price gets into that fair value gap right there, and then all of a sudden we have a boom, big movement to the, I could have entered right there. I could have actually entered. Notice this engulfing, so 2 candles up, 1 candle down. 1 candle covered these 2 candles already. That's a nice signal, and that it's respecting. You see, they're showing that it's actually reacting to that fair value gap. You could have entered right there. I could have entered right there, but I didn't enter. I just wanted to wait a little bit more still, So if you were on the 1 minute, this is what I'm saying. If you were on the 1 minute time frame, notice what happens here. Beautiful shift in the structure right here. Changing the state. Notice that we actually had a unicorn. We do have a breaker. This is a breaker block here. And we do have a fair value gap, right? So technically, if you wanted to enter, you could have entered right there. Maybe the stop loss here, right? Above. That's on the 1 minute. You could have caught, if you really wanted to go out, just right quick, right there, boom. That already, it's a 1 to 7 R. Already. If you wanted to catch this liquidity, still almost 1 to 8. But this is the liquidity I wanted to target. So notice this would have been a 1 to 17 risk to reward. What the heck, right? Notice this. If I would have caught this, 1 to 17, right? Sad. I didn't take it. That's okay. I made money anyways. So let me go back to the 5 minute time frame and tell you where I actually entered, which was on that second candle. A little late, that's fine. What the heck? I'll place my stop loss above the breaker right there. And then I just simply wait. I was still not seeing divergence. What time was this? 8:35. So I entered before the stock exchange. So entering before the stock exchange, I know it's going to be tricky. Price is probably going to chop around a little bit. It's going to give it a hard time. Probably is going to take more liquidity once the stock exchange opens. So here in this area, that right there. What time is it? So 5 minutes to 9:30, which is the stock exchange opening. So it's 9:25. Notice that it's not taking this high, and S&P is already sweeping that high right there. See? So we're forming divergence. And I was like, okay, this is what I was looking for, like extra confirmation for me. So I did take another entry, another position right there once I saw that divergence in my bias, in my direction. So after that, pretty much it was pretty quick. 9:30, it just went straight down, and that's it. That's what it took. It was a big displacement to the downside, and that was it. I only took one shot, one trade, and after of course all the confluences that I had on my favor, understanding what the price did overnight, what the current setup on lower time frame is presenting me, right? Understanding most recent highs, most recent lows, respecting this imbalance. We did not take the high, so we're showing that there is respect, that there is a lot of rejection right there in that zone, right? So I could have either take that entry on the 1 minute time frame, as I explained, right? Either 1 minute time frame or on the 5 minute time frame, maybe with that engulfing, I could have entered there. That also could have been a nice risk to reward. Or I could have even entered right here. As soon as I see that divergence, I could have entered with that candle, placing the stop loss maybe above this high. But, always safer probably above that swing, depending how you see it. But yeah, hope it makes sense, guys. Again, just wanted to show you that I do trade with my team pretty much every day. I do go live on Zoom, especially every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I do trade Mondays and Fridays, but just a more conservative way. Because I know Mondays and Fridays are normally trap days, and they behave quite bad. Last week, I wanted to show you here. This is my last week. Notice this. I ended up in the red. All the positions. No, notice how insane it was. Almost all my entries, almost all of them, still swing trading. This one is open because I'm swing trading Nasdaq. Still holding that buy. So that's that one right there. That's why it doesn't have any profits yet. So, but you can see that it was pretty bad. Almost all positions, I was either out on break even or cutting losses, reversing on me, going against me, just stopping break even. So pretty bad. Previous 2 weeks, they were actually really nice. You see this week, especially this week, I did not trade much. You see, it's because the opportunities were nice and clear. They were presented very nice. But weeks like this, they do happen. It's inevitable. You're gonna have losses, no matter what. No matter what. So if you can't get comfortable with losses, then you should not be trading. You should not be trading. Losing is part of the game, and I know I'm gonna lose. But my losses are controlled. I know when price is going against me, and I make a quick decision and cut losses. So I know when. So if you want to understand how I trade and how I'm able to achieve this, right? You see that I still have losses. I don't have a perfect weeks. I still struggle. I still have losses. It's part of the game. It's part of the game, right? So if you want to see me trade live, you want me to teach you how I trade and how I'm able to achieve these numbers, come join my team. Just come visit my website, teamprofitsenglish.com. I'm offering a lifetime mentorship. So it's a one-time payment. Listen, one-time payment, and you're part of my team forever until you're ready to fly away. One-time payment. You don't have to pay monthly anything. It's just one-time payment, and you're part of my team forever. Hope it makes sense. Let me know what you think, guys. I want to hear your comments. If you have any questions, any doubts, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take it easy.